Sparking zero drama. That's right, guys. We had some controversy, a lot of discussion that was riled up within the community a couple of days ago during the France Online qualifiers for the Dramatic Showdown. As you guys know, in each country that, was accepted into this, they actually had a tournament going on. And when it got to the France Online qualifiers, things got a little bit weird. And I saw this clip. Shout out to Greasy Pixel for actually posting this on the Sparking Zero community post. I was like baffled when I first saw this, because I was like, man, this is bringing flashbacks to when I used to watch like Super Smash Bros. Melee tournaments, or even like a couple of Ultimate tournaments, and people would be like ledge stalling. They would use these tactics, okay, which these are legitimate tactics that you can use in the game. These are, things that are in the game that people can do in order to get, a victory, get the W, right? So let's actually watch the clip. If you haven't seen it, okay, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all had, and you've been following this. If you clicked on this video, you probably know of what happened. So this is grand finals, right? These are like the top players on the France Online qualifiers. Let's watch this.
I'm running. I'm not fighting.
They we're trying to get 6 skill points. Like,
there's no fighting.
Oh yeah, we're swapping out. More 6. What?
There's no damage being done. It's just ascension and descending. So ascend and descend.
Trying to get 6 skill points.
That's it. It's just movement. Are they just trying to show off their crazy tech? Maybe this is like an aesthetic thing, right? It's a display. Like, oh, we just showing off our nice controller. This is like the button check before you actually play, right? So obviously, at first glance, you're like, what the fuck is this, dog? Like, what? This is grand finals, and again, this wasn't no button check or anything. This was actually like, this was the gameplay. This was, they were trying to win, right? And they were both using Androids, okay? Android 19 and Android 20, aka Giro. So let's actually see what is this, okay? Because when I first saw this, like, again, I should have clarified this. I do not play, at a, I guess, if you even consider a competitive level. Like, I'm a very casual player. Like, a very casual player on this game. Like, the most I'll do, PvP with a couple of the homies. That's it. That's all I get into, okay? I don't know all that crazy shit. Oh, all this tech and all that. I don't know about that. So, what the hell are they doing? I had to look, see what was going on in terms of the responses. Genuinely, I can't speak. What does flying do whenever you're flying up and down? Ascending and descending will not allow your opponent to dragon dash to you or lock on. Essentially, your opponent cannot attack you. Like, running away. That's the meta. That's the Sparking Zero meta right now, okay? That's how you should be playing if you want to win, right? I'm joking, okay? Yeah, so a lot of responses. Yeah, this is insane. I've been told, okay, check this out. Look, I saw this response. I've been told that this was done intentionally to draw the developers' attention to the game's problems. Bro, that's like some 15, 30 steps ahead of the game. If that was truly intentional, like, my mind is fucking blown, bro. Like, hey, shout outs to the players, right, that were doing that, okay? If that was truly the intention in that France tournament, then they are looking out for the community, right? And again, at the end of the day, this is a tournament, so they're gonna do any means necessary to get the victory. As lame as this shit is, again, like, I don't follow a lot of games competitively, especially with like fighting games and all that. But whenever I see somebody, for example, like when I used to follow, or I still do follow, like Melee, for example, Smash Bros. Melee, when I see somebody like ledge stalling, like they're using Jigglypuff and they're constantly going to the ledge and getting like the invincibility frames and hopping off, hopping back on, it's a very similar aspect. And you do that to either get like a timeout or to just annoy the player to the point where it's like more of it becomes like a mental game right? And I don't know if that's truly the intention of this. It could have been what they were talking about, the Dragon Dash thing. But the mental game is also a contributing factor into this as well, because you're constantly seeing that you're just getting mentally drained from watching that. And as a person like me, or like a commentator, okay, somebody on the outside of this that's not playing the game, to you, it's a very lame thing to watch. Obviously, the player that's playing that person, the opponent, they don't want to deal with that shit, but they're both doing it, okay? So there's something here that's being done for the W, right? At the end of the day, that's what they're wanting. So check this out. Shoutouts to Silver Rye here. Amazing competitive game. The commentators just gave up on commentating after this. And I don't blame them, okay? I don't blame them at all. Like, listen. It's just the gameplay at this point. Like, it's just them doing this bullshit. Like, I would have given up too, because there's nothing to say about it. What can you say? Like, you might as well just walk off stream and go do some other shit, right? There's no point in commentating this because they're just doing the same thing over and over again, and it's not even like productive. Like, it's just, are you trying to, like, you're basically gonna get a timeout at this point, right? So shout out to Tyrant, because this person, they have been in the community for a long time in terms of Dragon Ball FighterZ. They generally do commentary, and they were one of the commentators for this match, okay? So I'd like to watch a video, hear what he has to say. I'll give you some commentary over each of the talking points, just my own kind of perspective on things and what I think about this. And again, at the end of the day, I'm not a, like, competitive player or, like, somebody who's, like, super, like, you know, knowledgeable on the tech of this game or anything. I'm just giving my opinion as a fan of this game, somebody that wants to see this game do very well, okay? So I want to hear the truth, okay? Because it's literally titled "The Truth Behind Sparking Zero France Finals," because he kind of chimes in on what Globku posted. Globku posted a whole thread. Shout outs to him. He kind of went over, like, some crazy stuff, I guess, that was going on in the background. But let's hear what he has to say. And yeah, look at that. He's got the iconic Kefla figure. Let's go.
No, it's not the game's fault. How is it the game's fault? The developers probably didn't even know about this. Yesterday's dramatic showdown, online qualifier for France, for Sparking Zero, concluded in a very unusual manner. So if you watch the rest of the tournament, you might have noticed that the level was very high. Yo, 6, yo, 7, consistency. Yo, right back. Oh.
Yeah, you know, that's the standard stuff. This is actual gameplay right here.
For context, this is how the finals began. So you judge for yourself. So this is Shiryu, and it was Hiliester in the finals, okay?
Okay, so Shiryu and Hiliester, these are the two that were doing this. So they start the match. This is starting the match. This isn't no hits. That's it, bro. There, I saw one hit. There was like one hit that went through.
This looks absolutely ridiculous. But at the same time, are they really doing anything wrong? No. As stupid as it looks, actually an optimal way to play the game. What seemingly looks like the players colluding or trying to prove a point, it looks like that upon immediate inspection. But it's also the optimal way to play the game, which is crazy, right?
Now, okay, I don't know if that's actually the optimal way of playing the game. Obviously, I've seen matches, I've seen people play this game, and they're actually playing the fucking game. So, even if that is the case, right? Like, okay, at the end, like I said, at the end of the day, they're trying to get the win. So, if that is truly the optimal play with the, I guess, again, I don't want to say competitive because this game wasn't supposed to be a competitive game, but when you're making a tournament, okay, it is a competition. This is when it becomes a competition. So if that's the way, the optimal play of winning, okay, of trying to get the W, then yeah, unfortunately, like what do you do about that? Again, it's extremely lame, right? And he said at the beginning, like, it's not the developer's fault. And I don't necessarily agree with that just because, I mean, okay, how long has this game been in development? What, they said like 5 years, 5+ years, we'll go with that, right? They obviously had a lot of time to, you know, work this stuff out. Again, I bring this up all the time, but having a beta, having at least a closed beta and then an open beta before the game launched, it would have helped. Even by a little bit, it would have helped because, you know, eventually people would have found this stuff out, right? But at the same time, right, this game has over like 180 plus characters, right? And it's gonna take some time to figure out, like, for people to like find these exploits in the gameplay, right? Like, I feel like any fighting game that has released, right, there's always gonna be things that people will eventually find that's some type of like cheese or, again, an exploit within the game that people can abuse, which in a sense this is abusing this tactic, okay? Even though it's an actual tactic that you can use, you're abusing this, okay? Because you're constantly just you're in a sense spamming. You're going back, up and down, up and down, up and down, okay? And there's no progress being made in the match, right? Like, yo, I get a key blast, right? And then eventually it gets to like a timeout and you're just going for, okay, who has the lowest amount of health, right? Like, that's it's pretty silly. So it's like I said, it's a very, very split topic, like, on how you can interpret this, okay? It's like, who's at fault for this, right? And I think, you know, I think in this video he says that, like, no one's at fault. So you could say no one's at fault or everyone's at fault. I don't think there's just like one specific party, you know, if it's the player's fault or if it's the dev's fault, okay? I think it's both, right? You know, people, you have the choice to play this game in a certain way, and if you're using these tactics which are already in the game, you know, that it's on the fault of the devs, you know, because they didn't take that extra time, that extra care, okay, for finding out, like, or trying to get the players to play this game ahead of time before the release to figure out, all right, what are things that are in this game that we need to, like, destroy. We need to, like, completely patch this shit out, okay? But again, at the same time, over anything, there is a patch that's supposed to be coming in December, okay? And this tournament, hopefully, even though this is not the way that it should have been found out about, right? This tournament hopefully is going to contribute to patching this type of stuff out, okay? Or if that's even something that needs to be or should be patched out. I'll leave that up to you guys in the comments if you think... I'm not saying, like, oh, you patch out the fact that, like, you can go up and down, but, like, I don't know how they would handle it, if it's like, oh, there would be a limit on the androids or whatever aspect it is. But I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, you can't really put, like, one specific party at fault, okay? It's like a combination of everything, right?
Now, whose fault is this? Nobody's. No, it's not the game's fault. How is it the game's fault? The developers probably didn't even know about this. I would accept it's the game's fault if the game had...
And again, I agree that the devs, there's no way that they knew about this, okay? It's not like they did this, they put this in the game. Like, this is going up and down, right? Like, that's just movement, right? This is not something that they knew, oh, people were just going to constantly abuse this. And it's like, every game has some type of abuse that they can use in terms of, like, a tactic. Like spamming, okay? Spam is in every game. What game have you played, especially a fighting game, okay? Specifically a fighting game, because there are obviously other games where it's like, okay, there's a limit to what you can do, but...
It was still like this. Bro, the game is less than 2 months old. The game is like 6 weeks old, bro. The strategy there is you run away with the androids because they have infinite key. You get one hit and then you go for timeout.
So yeah, with them, I guess that was the strategy. It's because they have infinite key, okay? So if you're constantly doing that, you'll just eventually get a timeout because they specifically have that infinite key, which is kind of wild. So he also, you know, explains that, you know, right, this is true. The game is only a few months old, couple of months old, right? So they have this opportunity to gather this as feedback, right? They took surveys and all that stuff. So again, that December patch or whatever they're going to do in the future to patch this game is hopefully going to improve it and fix this type of shit, right? But again, I do agree with some, you know, the people that are saying, like, it is at, you know, the game or, like, the devs' faults in a sense, right? Because, you know, they didn't take that extra time to, you know, get people to play this game again through a beta, right? That's like a huge criticism that I'm going to keep giving this game. And it's like, I know people are going to say, oh, even if they did a beta, it wouldn't have done anything. And it's like, well, even if it was, like, the smallest changes, like, just having a beta out there for people to have played before the game dropped is always a good thing, right? It's not a bad thing to do. The only negative from it is if people, like, can data mine it or whatever. But it's like, I'm sure that they could take some extra precautions on that, okay? Or specifically make it for console because it's a little bit harder to, do that shit. If they put it on PC, yeah, it's way easier to data mine. But I'm just saying, like, the beta, it would have helped even by a little, okay? But at the end of the day, again, there are still going to be things that people would have found, right? Like, people after the release, okay? People are still going to find exploits. They're going to find things in the game that they can abuse and use to their advantage to gain a victory over their opponent.
So they were planning on doing that for 10 minutes. So they cut to us, and these guys, they kept playing. So they played through the match like that. It's too early to say it's the game's fault. So I don't even think that you can say, oh man.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to you guys in the comments. Again, I'm just giving my opinion on it. But if you think it's the game's fault, you can comment below if you think it's game or /dev's fault, or if it's the actual like player's fault. Comment down below and give me your reasoning for it. Okay, give me your thoughts and opinions about this because I like reading to see what other people think.
The game is. They've already admitted the game was not built for competitive viability to the level of like a DBFC. So anyway, these guys,
and that's true. That is true. It was never meant to be competitive. But again, when you make a tournament, it becomes competition. Because what is a tournament? What are you doing in a tournament? You're not there to have a good time, have fun. I mean, you can have fun, right? But that obviously was not fun. But when you make a tournament, it's all about winning. Who's going to win?
Played for what, 10 minutes? So shout outs to me and Jake for having to talk for 10 minutes.
And I feel for these guys because they had to watch this shit and try to commentate this bullshit.
What happened afterwards, but Hilly has to switch teams. If the game was not built for competitive, why do official tournaments? Because it's a good way to showcase the game. But I do agree that they should have paid more attention to certain strategies in the game and switch the rules accordingly. I think.
So yeah, even he's acknowledging that, right? Even though if it's, for example, what he said, to showcase the game. Yes, they're showcasing the game and it's like promotion in that aspect too. It's like, oh yeah, we have like a tournament for it. Oh yeah. It's still a tournament. It's still a tournament. So you're going to do any means necessary to win.
I think if they did solo
even if it's the lamest bullshit ever,
they would be kind of non-existent. And that's why the rules at Battle Hour are different. The rules at Battle Hour are you're given a character to play. You don't build an entire team yourself. So, I mean, whether you like it or not, what he's doing here is optimal. Hit and run timeout is too strong in this game. I have seen what Shiryu said on social media. I've got it right here. I won by just running with androids.
This is so lame, dude.
Sparking 0. And then there's this response here from him. They will end up listening to us.
Okay. So this is actually from the guy that was doing this shit. He was participating in that match, okay? And he was doing the, going up and down and shit. So maybe this was his intention. I didn't know about this. Okay, I didn't even know he had a Twitter and he was posting this. So I guess that was the intention. He was trying to bring attention to the devs about this. Very interesting. I don't speak for the other guy, but the other guy hadn't said anything unless he said something in this video.
Was 100% trying to prove a point by playing like this.
Okay.
Shiryu ended up winning the tournament, right? As you can see. He won the tournament. Hylia came second. Now, what happened here, I think there's some misinformation going around. So shout outs to Goku. He's my bro. He sent out a tweet just sort of giving some more information on what happened. But he doesn't like what happened, says it was unacceptable, etc. We get the sparking is a competitive game, but as soon as you put on a tournament like this, you have to respect the player choice. Telling a player to switch characters in grand finals is not okay. This is where the misinformation comes in. And to his credit, and shout outs to Goku, we got on a call, we spoke about it, and he's recently added further context that corrects this part. Staff did not directly tell Hylia to switch characters. That is not what happened at all. So, like, after the first game, with all that dashing up and down stuff, he was told to play seriously, okay, by the staff.
Okay.
Again, you can see from Shiryu's tweet that he was trying to prove a point. With hashtag fix sparking 0, they will end up listening to us. You know what I'm saying? So, regardless of whether Hylia had the same mindset or not, that is not part of this. Shiryu was trying to prove a point by this, and Hylia could have played the same characters again if he wanted to. I know he was afraid of perhaps risking a DQ, and honestly, I feel like the word DQ should never have been mentioned. What was said was, you should play seriously, or we might have to DQ. And yes, this is the production team. This is not Bandai staff. Hylia put out a tweet as well, regarding this.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot of things, so I think you need some explanation. They didn't explicitly tell me to switch teams because they're not naive enough to say it like that. I've seen the message. He asked the staff, do I have to switch teams? And the people running the event said, you can choose whatever team you want as per the tournament rules. But the players were warned to play seriously because, bro, on a surface level, tell me that doesn't look like a collusion or some kind of...
Okay. That's a major amount of new context, okay? And that's why I wanted to watch his video and give my commentary over it and get the full actual truth and information behind it, because when Goku tweeted that out, I was like, what the fuck? Like, you should not be telling somebody that you cannot, like, you have to switch characters after allowing them to use those characters. You know what I mean? Like, they should have had all that figured out before, and if that was a serious thing that they did not want to have in the tournament, then they should have, for example, banned the characters or whatever. But, if it was, oh, I'm gonna DQ you if you don't do what I say, like in this aspect or whatever, that's pretty crazy, okay, for the fucking, like, using a specific character, okay? I don't agree with that, right? If that was the actual truth, but that wasn't the case, okay? What ended up happening was they told him just to play seriously, okay? Which, again, understandable because, again, like he said, it looks like some type of collusion, okay? A collusion being, both players are working together in order to get some, they're benefiting, okay, from it, right? So, for example, that they probably had a deal in the background, like, hey, do this, do this thing in the match or whatever. Give me the win, for example, and we'll split the profits, right? 50-50, or I'll give you 20% of it because, whatever it was in terms of like the reward from this, or, whatever it was, okay? Some type of collusion, right? But I'm just saying that as an example, because that's usually, anytime a collusion would happen in some type of tournament like this, from other fighting games, which I've seen in the past, there's definitely been many cases of collusions or whatever. So that's crazy, though. That's crazy. I'm glad that context and that information has come out so that we can better understand, like, what the fuck actually happened in the background with these people, okay? It's not, he clarified, it's not Bandai's staff, it's just whoever was running this event.
Protest against the game, which it was, as you can see. Who's in the wrong here? I don't think anybody's in the wrong. It looks like trolling. Yeah, exactly. I know they were wasting time, but you've got to remember as well, like I said, wasting time and going for timeout is very, very, very strong in this game. Stalling and going for timeout is so strong in this game. That makes
me want to throw up, dog. I hate that's like...
It's actually hard to say.
That whole sentence is a thing.
Or are they playing seriously? And at the same time,
timing out is the way, is the optimal play.
So it's a very gray area. I don't think there's one right or wrong answer here. I just think that it comes down to the fact that the game is still really new. Like, the game is still so new. The developers probably didn't even know about this. They probably haven't had time to fix this. We know there's a patch coming in December. Once we see that patch, then we can decide, okay, now we know what's going on. How is, like, okay, is this optimal or not? It's hard to say. But all I can see is my man was not losing any ki. He was not losing any health. And he won. I agree. There has been tournaments already. I understand that. And there should have been a more clear rule set to stop this from happening. Maybe a 3-character max. Like 3 characters max, or just solo.
So yeah, I'm going to kind of end it off there because, they're just going into like more detail on like how it should have been ran and all that stuff. And again, I agree, because there were tournaments in the past and maybe not on this scope or this level, right? But all right, guys, so this is a developing story, okay? We're following up from the first initial reaction to everything that happened with this tournament. This is about 1 day later after recording that first part of the video. The shit is getting crazier. This is some of like the most ridiculous stuff ever, and it's just this is a bad look, okay, for Sparking Zero and the people running this event in general. Okay, it just keeps getting worse. So let's talk about this because Shiryu, one of the participants in the tournament, okay, one of the dudes that were doing the up and down Android bullshit, right? Regardless of how you think about it, okay, he actually posted this. You guys all see the finals from France. They just disqualified me and Hilly Esther for no reason. So the general admin, this is all on Discord, okay? We're going to read the whole message. The tournament organizers have determined that 2 players engaged in actions that violated the code of conduct during the finals for the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero Dramatic Showdown online qualifier from France. Their actions disrupted the normal operation of the event, The tournament organizers have decided to take the following measures. Disqualification of both players, so they're both gone. So first and second place, like, it's over, like they're gone, right? The revocation of qualification for the Battle Hour Grand Final. So all that time that they spent getting to this point, regardless, again, how their playstyle was, however they did it, the time that was invested in it, that's all gone, okay? So they can't move on or advance to the Battle Hour Grand Finals. And the third place players will be invited to compete in a match under the supervision of administrators off stream. Okay, the winner will qualify for the Battle Hour Grand Final, right? So I don't know what the initial like code of conduct said, but we're going to be going over some extra details. There's a lot of extra context that you guys need to know about this, so I'll save my thoughts for that. We'll read the rest of it, okay? The tournament organizers will continue to strictly address any violations or inappropriate behavior. We ask for the understanding and cooperation of all participants, spectators, and staff, okay? Moving on, right? So this is, okay, this is directly from the Discord server where they were organizing everything and getting people to get into the tournament and play matches and all this stuff, right? So again, this is coming straight from Shiryu himself, the guy that actually participated. He got disqualified along with Hilly Esther, okay? This is the guy who won, if I'm not mistaken, okay? So DB Sparking News posted some extra context to this. So he said, the winner of the tournament asked multiple times if the strategy was allowed and was ignored by the moderation team. And according to the winner, this rule was edited after victory, okay? This is a follow-up to that same, initial post, right? And he was asking, is it justified? So this is really, really important context, this second part here. And I feel like some people might overlook this or not see this because it's a reply to his initial tweet. So hopefully this sheds some light on the whole situation, okay? So basically what happened was during the tournament, Shiryu asked, so he asked multiple times, okay, this was in response to the general admin. He said, please join the stream lobby and play now or else we will dismiss the match, okay? So he responded to him, will he get DQ'd if he does this tactic, right? So the tournament supposed to start, and then he goes, because I went to timer with that, okay? So that, again, he's explaining that's his strategy, right? Can a mod answer my questions, please? Can I run or win to timer? Yes or no? He's saying run, like literally run, like like what they were doing. You know what I mean? Basically saying, can I run away until the timer goes out? Okay, it ends, and could I win? Is that allowed? Okay. So then this person responded, which I don't know if they're not the admin. This might be somebody else in the server, but he says, there is nothing about running away from the whole game in the rules. So for now, we'll go with what they have to say. Okay, and Shiryu responded back, so it's legit then, okay? Moving on. Now, this is the crazy part. He stated this in the context. This was allegedly modified. It was edited. Okay, you can see right here on the bottom. This is on Discord. You can edit messages on Discord. And again, I don't know what the code of conduct or the rules initially stated, okay? But right here, this is after the modification, after the edit of the rules. It says, engaging in any other behavior deemed by the tournament group to be inappropriate or otherwise tampers with the gameplay and operation of the tournament events, okay? So obviously, this is something that you're not allowed to do, right? So they're saying, deemed by the tournament group to be inappropriate or otherwise tampers with gameplay. Again, I don't know exactly what it said initially, but this is very general, okay? Very, very general. Basically saying, if we deem it, then that's it. That's it, right? Like, if we decide, hey, this isn't allowed, boom, that's it. But, again, he asked multiple times, was ignored, so that's where things... I'm telling you, it's going to be very split among the community. There are going to be people that agree with this and people that disagree with this, okay? And I personally would have to go on the side of disagreeing with the tournament organizers because, again, I don't know what the initial rules said. This was edited, and this is according to what the, winner, Shiryu, said. Okay, this was after he already won. They edited the rules, right? I think what they did was very fucking lame. How they played was garbage, okay? That's just my opinion. I don't know anybody else that would think otherwise, but yeah, that's a garbage way to play. But these are mechanics in the game. This exists in the game. It's already there. They never, before the tournament started, they never said, these characters are banned, you cannot do this. As far as I know, okay, because you're even seeing it from this person that replied, there was nothing about running away from the whole game in the rules, right? At least for this tournament. And again, this is a tournament. They're going to use any means necessary to win the tournament. And if it's running away until timer, I mean, in other games, and I mean, at least, again, I like to bring up Smash Bros. Because it's like one of the few like competitive games, like I'm talking about in tournament that I watch. You can run away until timeout. It's a legitimate thing, as long as you just don't get hit, right? So, it was legit. It was legit. How they played was shit, but it was a legit thing, a legit tactic. So, the tournament organizers, they should have thought about that before the tournament started. So, they're doing it after everything already went down. Everybody already invested all this time into it. They participated, they got to grand finals, and regardless of how they played that way, and they won, okay? So I don't think it's right for them to disqualify them. That's just my opinion. You can disagree with me if you want to, but it's in the context. Like, if it would have been different if they had already said certain, you know, things were not allowed. But as far as I know, it was allowed, and then they changed it after. You should have thought about that. You know what I mean? So, I know, it's going to be really crazy and split among the community over this. There are going to be people who say, oh, yeah, they should have been DQ'd because they played like that, and that's disrupting the thing. But it's like, again, it was all after everything happened, and they already won, dog. Like, I would just say, for example, you know that meme? Let it go. Like, yeah, just let it go. Let them win. Let them advance onto the finals. They were both doing it too, right? So, it's not like, oh, one person wasn't doing it, and the other person was. So it's like, I think in this specific situation, this is like a very unique situation. They should be able to move on the grand finals regardless of how they played, okay? Regardless of how you think. That's just, I think that's how it should be. And I think it's a bad look on the tournament organizers for doing this, okay? The whole France tournament it's a biggest shit show I think I've ever seen, bro. One of the craziest like tournament situations, you know, and there's so much drama with it. Like, it's crazy. Again, I know that's a lot. This video was extremely long because there was just so much stuff that came out, so much information on this, and like, again, it's very controversial over this stuff. But you guys comment down below what you think about this. If you think it's justified or not. I'm going to stick with it not being justified. They should not disqualify these people because these were not in the rules initially. And you can correct me, you know, if that is wrong, if this was actually part of the rules, or if there was a rule in there that said, oh, you specifically cannot do this or that or whatever. Again, I don't know where you even find the code of conduct on here, but I'm just going off of what they're putting in this Discord, and it was obviously edited, so it's like, was it a little edit, like oh, I fucked up with one, I misspelled one of the words, so I'm editing it, right? I don't know, it's just, everything here is looking pretty bad. Like, oh god. Alright, that's gonna be the end of this video. I just hope, I'm praying for the future of Sparking Zero to just be better, because like, it's a mess right now. Alright, hopefully December's coming, y'all. December's coming very soon, like next week. It's starting, so we're in the end game for waiting on this patch.
This is Broly, and you are watching SLOplays. Make sure to subscribe, or else I'll destroy your entire planet.